Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management? We work with companies who invest in the success of their employees. Our retirement plan services department works with those companies to build and bolster retirement plans, including 401ks, because for many, a 401k is the cornerstone of an investment and retirement plan. Tom Parks is Director of Retirement Plan Services, Annex Wealth Management. Welcome back.
Always good to be here.
You know the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's the moral of the story we're going to share here, right?
That is a great synthesis of this, Danny.
Right. So here's where we're going. Tom and I read the same article in Wall Street Journal, and the headline said, I'm 37 years old. I haven't saved nearly enough for retirement. What do I do? The subhead said, like so many millennials, I started saving late and catching up hasn't been easy. Tom, may I ask you to read an early part of that article?
I would be happy to, Danny. Will Flanigan was the author, and he said, quote, "My coworkers and I attended a presentation where a well-dressed man with a monotone voice went into detail about our employer's new retirement savings plan, the investment options, fees, outlook, and the company match. He used words like financial headwinds and fully vested, and whipped out a pie chart to zust things up. When he asked me if I had any questions, I said no."
So how'd that sit with you? Because you at times are the guy making the presentation for employees.
I am very often that guy, Danny. As a matter of fact, that was my first job in this industry. And when I read this, it broke my heart because I think so often the people in our industry have this tendency to want to project this sophistication and all this stuff. And in doing so, they end up turning people like Will here off, and it does not accomplish the goal they're setting out for.
So he goes on to share a story of working and not really being involved with that workplace savings program. He contributed just enough to make the match, but he wasn't aggressive. He had student loan payments he said he needed to pay, car payments, health care, other expenses, then worked for a company that didn't have a 401k. At that point, it sounded like he wasn't making any sort of contributions. He took out $10K from an IRA for a down payment on a home. Another time, withdrew a couple of thousand from a Roth 401k to help pay for a move. Is he a victim of circumstances here?
Well, you know, I'm not big on victimhood, Danny. I would say he is more a product of our culture, really. And I like that you went through all that stuff because we talk a lot about financial wellness, and people often say, oh, come on, you know, we're talking about 401k plans here. And it's like, well, you need to talk about this stuff in context. It does come down to a question of priorities. Paying for all that stuff, I get it, is not easy. I am not suggesting that it is, because it definitely is not. However, we do have to prioritize things. So I hear this story that he's telling day in and day out. He's not alone, that's for sure. And I don't blame him for it, but he seemed to really take ownership of categorizing all the things he had done wrong, you know?
I thought he's pretty brave to put this
I thought so too.
The Wall Street Journal. He was a millennial. You're Gen X. Any comparisons? I mean, do you run into that with your group?
Well, we come across all kinds and all generations, Danny. You know, I don't want to pin anybody with anything specific.
Sorry for my boomerness, but who is responsible for the state this guy is in? Is it him or the original boring presenter that didn't catch his attention enough to engage him?
That is a great question, Danny. So, like I said, my first job in this industry was doing education for 401k plans. I was blessed to work with an amazing team of educators who really stress the importance of it is a performance. People have to be listening in order to consume the information you're giving them. If you're boring them to death, it doesn't matter how good the information you have is, they're not going to hear it. It's a combination of things. Employers have to give this information to their employees, and leveraging a team like ours is the best way to do it. There are people who say we're going to do this and then it keeps not getting done. Well, we're here waiting to do it. You got to let us do it. Once you get in front of people, though, it is incumbent upon workers to listen and pay attention, and hopefully the communication happens in a way that's consumable.
So when we present to workers, we always say know the difference. What is the Annex difference? I mean, how do we reach those folks?
It starts with fun, Danny. We do try to make it fun. The other thing that's very different with our team is the multiple avenues that we pursue to engage people. We use postcards that we send to people's homes. We do live webinars. We do in-person. We do recorded videos that are custom to our clients. We throw everything at it, hoping that one or two of those things will stick with a diverse employee group. You got to communicate in different ways with people. We try to make it engaging, and we try to do it lots of different ways.
Well, we're talking to a couple of different groups of audiences here on this show. One is people that are probably, 50s, 60s, 70s. They've been doing that all along. The other is the company owners, the CFOs, the HR professionals who really want to invest in their employees to make stronger employees.
Yeah, and it's very good not only for your company culture, but for the bottom line. To have, you and I have talked about this a million times, lots of different ways that financial wellness or lack thereof ends up manifesting itself on the bottom line.
Tom Parks, Director of Retirement Plan Services, thank you.
Thank you, Danny.